One of the biggest questions we have to answer this offseason is what are the Jets going to do with wide receiver one? Are they going to go the free agent route? Are they going to go the draft route? Or are they going to look into a trade? Well, one of these wide receivers that are possibly seeking a trade just spoke out. Calvin Ridley is back on the table. All right, welcome in. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Boys and girls, I go live every Monday at 8 o'clock for my live call-in show. I actually have Joe Blewett from Jets X Factor going to be breaking down some of our combine news this week. And then Tuesday, we got our Talking Jets panel, myself, O'Leary, and Green Bean. So make sure you tune in to all that for all your Jet-related news. But let's move on to today's topic of the day. And we are discussing a little bit of wide receiver news coming out of the NFL, and the Jets are going to have a lot of questions. We have Braxton Berrios. Are we going to re-sign him? Keelan Cole and Jamison Crowder are both free agents as well. We're expecting to probably let those guys walk. And how are the Jets going to focus on fixing this position? Because you want someone that's going to be able to grow with Zach Wilson for the foreseeable future. You have Corey Davis under contract. You have Elijah Moore that you just drafted last year. Denzel Mims might wind up being the draft bust that some people think he is, or maybe they take him into camp and they wind up trying to reclaim him this upcoming season. Well, there's a few routes the Jets can go. You can look the free agent route, you can look the draft route, and there's a lot of options. The way the combine kind of shook out probably gives me a little bit of the willies as far as wide receiver at the in the top 10. And then in the free agent route, you're paying a lot of money for someone that, you know, their team did not want to retain them. And maybe there's, you know, different directions you want to go, how you want to handle it, depending on, you know, how you see the Jets roster and whatnot. But one of the biggest options that I've been advocating for is trade. I brought up Amari Cooper, I brought up Michael Thomas, and I've definitely brought up Calvin Ridley a few times. And here we're talking about Calvin Ridley, the 27-year-old, 6'1", 190-pound receiver from Atlanta who stepped away from the game after Halloween for mental health concerns. Now, he had an elite 2020 campaign, had a ton of yards playing second fiddle to Julio Jones. So there is a question as to, is this guy a number one or is he a high-end number two? And it seems like the Falcons wanted to see him as a solo number one, or at least a solo number one with an elite Kyle Pitts as well, because they did not extend a contract offer to him last offseason. So everyone's been talking about Calvin Ridley. Is he going to be available? Everyone's concerned about the mental health concerns because you don't want something popping off like an Antonio Brown or, you know, someone that is inside their own head that really needs to find and seek some help internally for themselves. But Calvin Ridley breaks his silence for the first time all offseason, and he tweets out, "Ball is life. Emoji ball is life." I know. Big news, right? But I'm excited for this. At least he's kind of coming back around to the, I don't want to say the spotlight, but at least he's sort of interacting with the football world again. And then he followed it up with a little crying face emoji of laughing because it obviously is funny, because as soon as he put out "ball is life," everyone's talking about trade speculation and where could this guy go and where does he wind up ending up. Well, that's not going to stop me either, because I really like him. I think he's an incredibly crisp route runner, and I think he would definitely fit in this team, depending on what you have to do to give, what you have to give up to get him, and what kind of contract you'd be looking to try and retain him for after the fact. So here are three teams that I think could, well, I shouldn't say three teams. Here's the two teams that I think are probably more likely than the Jets. My first thought is the Eagles. The Eagles have 3 first-round picks, and they seem like they could be in the market for a wide receiver. I know they took Devontae Smith last year, but Jalen Reagor really has been disappointing, and you want to surround Jalen Hurts with as much talent as possible. Not to mention, Hurts and Devontae Smith both played with Calvin Ridley at Alabama. So there's that Alabama connection there. I think that might be a comfort level, and I think the Eagles having the excess of first-round picks, it might benefit them having an established wide receiver than maybe going the draft route, and having 3 first-round picks is definitely nice to go there. They could throw in Reagor, send him over to Atlanta, maybe a change of scenery is, you know, good for him. It's similar to like throwing in Mims in any trade that we consider as well. The other option that I think is a really, really likely situation, and a reason why I think the Jets should absolutely be in on this conversation at the very least, is the Miami Dolphins. And the Miami Dolphins come into play because Calvin Ridley is from Fort Lauderdale, and Tua Tagovailoa is their quarterback. He played with them in Alabama as well. So this Alabama sort of connection is really coming in pretty strong here. Now, they could throw in Devontae Parker as well. That's probably more attractive than either Mims or or Rieger. And if I'm the Jets, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, hey, I'm going to offer at the bare minimum, if I like him. I mean, obviously, if you don't like him, don't offer a pick. But if you like him, offer the 38th pick. Because worst case scenario, if the Dolphins want him, they're going to have to pony up that, 29th pick overall, and then maybe they're not taking a tight end in front of us, because obviously Mike McDaniel's coming from the 49ers, Mike Gesicki possibly leaving, maybe a tight end winds up falling to us at 35 because we forced the Dolphins to use their late first-round pick on Calvin Ridley. That's kind of where I'm looking at this, and I know people are going to say, hey, don't brush off the mental health concerns, just sending out a tweet is not necessarily something that is groundbreaking or is going to change his mental state, and that's totally true. I don't want to downplay the mental health concerns, but there are a few things that I think we should consider. I think, so Calvin Ridley has a young child that he's definitely trying to, be a good parent for. But in his time in Atlanta, he has obviously the mental health concerns that are going on, whether that's coaching change, something going on with the team internally, or maybe it's just family outside of the realm of football. But I know he had his car stolen while he was paying for gas. He was robbed at gunpoint and had an altercation between his fiance and strangers in public. So I think he's probably just not feeling super comfortable in Atlanta. And these are all situations that could happen in any city. It's not Atlanta exclusively. But I think when you have a young child and you're trying to, put them in the best position, put yourself in the best position, maybe being somewhere where you're more comfortable with a quarterback that you've worked with in the past, some receivers that you may have dealt with, obviously a Jalen Waddle going to Alabama as well. Down in Miami, so there's a lot of Alabama connections for Ridley at these two spots. And if I'm the Jets, I'm not concerned with Ridley so much, but I think at the very least, if you don't want him, you should offer the 38th pick, because we should want the Dolphins to try and want to pull the trigger if we start hearing some rumblings about this. So I don't know. Guys, let me know what you think about this particular situation. Is Calvin Ridley good to go? Does this tweet give you any sort of comfort in wanting to potentially bring him in, or does it not matter at all and you're really looking towards the draft or towards like Amari Cooper or some other potentially traded wide receiver? I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, go Jets.